one of the things that got to me as a researcher, I do research, and there was a lot of question back then. How did the place get its name? More Tomorrow. It's such a unique name, you know. Mm-hmm. And we have all kinds of stories around it. We know one thing for certain, that there was a slave master by the name of Thomas Paslow, mm-hmm. who owned that area, and he owned other areas on the Belize River. By the way, I put a new version onto the Belize River. I now call it the Belize Nile River.
Okay, explain that to me.
Yes, I will get to that later on.
Okay.
So, I start my investigation, trying to find, because the stories that I hear I was not satisfied with, and I began to research. And one day I was at the library in John Burton's archives. He has a lot of archives on Belize. And
where is that?
At the time, the library used to be in Belize City.
Not Front Street.
Not no, at the Bliss. Sorry, at Bliss.
Okay.
And right there, I used to go do my research in there, and there I came through looking. I was looking for More Tomorrow at the time. I was looking for something else. I usually look for many things when I go to research. And there, and behold, whoop, it says me, this page, More Tomorrow. And the date was 1793. And I start build on that, and I created, tied up with a lot of the other areas that you just asked me about.
Yes, Never Delay.
Never Delay, Duck Run, all those areas, Big Fall, Lee Fall. You'll get all that in the document that I have done.
Okay.
Yeah. And so every year we establish the anniversary in 1993. Since 1993 and 1793 were, so that brought 100 years of More Tomorrow existence. Not as a village council, but a More Tomorrow existence from 1793. And every year since then, 1993, we keep honoring, and we, you know, people. That's how that period started. In 1960, Evan X had just returned from the United States, and he was holding lectures. You know, they used to hold lectures at the Bliss, extramural.
Yes.
And there, right in that period there, he was drawing certain crowds. And he was talking black history. So black history is what do you call it? The core, not the dealing with the British slavery, etc. Yet it was just black history, doing re-educating like you.
Knowledge of self.
Yes, that's right. So what happened? Myself, Brother Justice, and others attended, and we saw it was interesting. And he was. When he learned that we were Muslims, and we were talking, the biggest black history thing come from the Muslims. We found an alliance right there. And then we started to move from there. We ended up at Liberty Hall. And while we were at Liberty Hall, we were finding how to find a name coming together. And during that period, we had this guy, William, this old millionaire that died, man. William something. On North Front Street, he had his business.
Turton.
No, not Turton. This is a black guy. Again, he became a part of the movie. He liked the kind of talk we had with. So it was at his house. He invited us at his house one evening. And we had the artist Belize and some others there. And we were talking about there were experiments. Before we got to UBAD, we had UBCA. We were saying he has to have united, the word black, united and black. Two things I was focusing on there. And we ended up to come up with UBCA.
What did UBCA mean?
United Black Cultural Association at the time. That's UBCA. And while we were at Mr. Mann's house, the name we're still floating with the name. What can we come up with? And then we started and we went into United Black. Then we said, okay, development. That has to be in there too. And I remember when Evan came up and said, UBAD. He remember James Brown's song. There was a song where James Brown sang and he said, UBAD no. I don't remember which one of the song was that. And he said, UBAD. And then we decided, no, let's put on some meat onto this now, UBAD. And so we came up with the United Black Association for Development. That's how that name originated. Can't remember that man's name, man. Anyway, to make a long story short, that's how the name started. And then we began to promote it at the Liberty Hall. Liberty Hall has a lot of history, you know. And thereafter we decided, now we have to find our own place because now the people, the old folks there were getting nervous. Too much black talk and, you know. Then we had Silky Stewart came on the scene and then he started that orchestra. I said, oh boy. One night everything almost crashed. You know, they had Schumann and Moose and all them began to surround us around that time. And then the movement...
We're talking 1967?
We moved from 68 now, we went to 69. Okay? 69, we get our headquarters at... we rented a little place on 45 Heights Lane. It was a Chinese place. It was, he had upstairs and downstairs had two sections.
Quinto.
Quinto, I don't remember what was the name.
Quinto. I knew the Chinaman because I lived at Gonzales.
Right at the corner of Cardali and Isaiah.
Right.
Right. And so we began to work on that. They tell us as soon as the other side empty, they would have given us that. It never happened. Because what happened, as we began to get strong, people just crowd the place. All day we got Malcolm X record playing and different songs, Black and Proud, the ballads of the bullets, things like that we were. And so people crowd the area day and night. In the night we have meetings and so on. The street just overcrowded. So we say, you know what, we're ready to hit the go out further. Place got too small. But then the people getting nervous also. Government bringing pressure on them. Get rid of that crowd. So eventually we got notice to move. All right, we've moved, and the next headquarters we moved to was at the corner of Rocky Road and Racecourse Street, one of Mr. Kane's property. Remember the Kane would do printing on New Road? He had a property right at the corner, big upstairs, but the house was almost tumbling down. And we got there and we do our thing, or we raised money for the newspaper. We created the name Mandala during that period, 1969. And so that began to catch fire. In the early days of Mandala.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I see what you like.
Fly.
Yeah. In the early days of the Mandala, we use a Gestetner printing machine.
Never forget that.
I
never forget that. I cranked that Gestetner a few times.
And that was some challenge. As we moved from there, we got another place. Galento was working at a place on New Ferris Avenue. I know his job profession was tailoring.
Yeah.
And so he told us that there's a room available on the same building that he was working, and we could get it. So we finally moved from Kane's place to Euphrates Avenue. And again, we do our thing, rousing meetings, etc. And next thing you know, the owner, he got nervous, and his pressure come down on him and said, we got to move again. So, but at this time, I had already told the group, I said, you know what, we need to get our own property. Because they will keep turning us over and over, you're like a tree can't catch root.
Start over.
And so they took my advice and they appointed me to look after, find a place. Well, I have been able to keep always keep a good relationship between governments. At the time when they didn't have UDP, it was just PUP. And so the guy Perdomo, Santiago Perdomo, who died recently, I spoke to him. He was the Minister of Lands at the time. Then we need a piece of place for the organization. And he took me on Partridge Street and showed me all that swamp back there, mangrove swamp. Why? Yeah, I forgot. Strong minds will start to walk there. I said, brother. He said, but you got some land we want to take over from people, so better than this. I said, no, brother. Belize was built on swamp, and we will take this challenge. And so I said, we want to walk right here.
Name some of the people who were the original members.
Members of UBAD?
Yes.
Evan X, myself, Edgar Richardson, Odinga Lumumba, Rufus X.